what? Sorry. I said what? A wild week. Oxford researchers just confirmed what we feared. The internet is dying. MrBeast seems to be embarking on a major new secret project. Penguin Zero has just revealed all of the money he's ever made on YouTube, and it is shocking. All journalists have stormed out of the Pentagon for a pretty staggering reason. There's been a resurgence of religion, a mayor of SKIDROW, News Maddie finally presenting the final segment of this episode, and to top it all off, we just hit 1 million. No, we haven't, not yet. One day though. All of that and so much more. Let's stop the yapping and let's get cracking. Amba wena suga wena masepa. Okay guys, this one truly blew my mind. Oxford researchers just confirmed what we feared. The internet, as we knew it, is dying. Now that is the opening line of a post referencing this chart. It shows that for the first time ever, AI-generated news articles have now outnumbered those written by real humans. And the thing is, only 5 years ago, that is a small child, remember? This was 100% human, 0% AI, or near that. But then in 2022, when ChatGPT launched, everything changed. Now, as someone in the news space, to me, this was pretty shocking, especially since that post then says projections say 90% plus will be AI by next year. And to make it worse, quote, the real crisis is model collapse. Oh, so that wasn't the real crisis? When AI trains on AI-generated content, quality degrades like photocopying a photocopy. Rare ideas disappear, everything converges into generic sameness. And when I was reading this, I was like, this sounds like some real-life dead internet theory type beat. So I did some research, and turns out this data is not from Oxford, rather from an SEO company which used AI to detect if an article was written by AI. But their own methodology says that, quote, many argue that detecting AI is impossible or at best highly inaccurate. So that throws into question if this graph is even correct. But let's just go along for a second and say that it is. Another thing that the study also didn't include is the number of views each article had that they evaluated. Because let's be honest, the total number of AI-written articles on the internet is kind of meaningless if no one is reading them. But what about that crisis of AI models being trained on AI content because the articles are still out there? Well, I too was interested in that, so I go back to the original post and lo and behold, I find a human AI expert who has worked at Meta, Uber, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, and he said that model collapse is widely considered not a real problem. He then lists the reasons why and provides research to back up this claim. Bro, and at this point, I am baffled. I was like, that original post, everything from the intro to the sources to the real crisis, everything was sus. What did I just read? And then there's the kicker. I go to look at who wrote it, and turns out it's not a who, it's an it. Perplexity AI was the originator of this post. God damn. How is AI gonna fearmonger humans against AI? Tell me this, Alex! But here's another twist for you. Just when I was about to wage war against the machines, I remembered, when you get hit by a car, you don't blame the car, you blame the driver. And guess who's the driver? AI is not killing the future. Humans are. Because guess who generated that post? But also, before our souls disappear, guess who corrected that post? Another human. It's too much for my brain. Moving on! Okay guys, the Penguin Zero situation is crazy. And you know what? I'm gonna say it. I wish that I never even saw this. Yeah. So a few days ago, he made a video titled, I'm turning it off. And what he was referring to is donations. He refused to allow his supporters to give him any more money. He basically said, I don't need more, and now more than ever, don't give it to me. Which, I'm not gonna lie, have you ever heard a wealthy person say, Stop giving me money? Top one time I've ever heard it, actually.
To a normal person who is actually working their ass off every single day in a 9-to-5 environment, grinding in the hopes of chasing the American dream, and then they'll come home, maybe turn on my stream and donate a couple of dollars to me. And it just doesn't sit right with me taking that kind of money, given what I've made from all of this.
But fair enough to say, people were caught so off guard by this, they said, this is so based of Charlie. I'm gonna donate my money to him. Another one said, you'll never turn us off, Charlie. Take our money! So much so that a couple of days later, he had to post a video saying, I am not turning it back on, and then he kind of laid out, here's why. He then had to proceed to show, just to stop them flooding in, the genuinely staggering amounts of money that he's made on Twitch and YouTube. And for context, for anyone who doesn't know who Penguin Zero is, Charlie, he has over 17 million subscribers on YouTube, which is easily top 1% on the platform. He posts every day, if not multiple times a day, and each video, on average, it gets between 1 and 3 million views. That's like 6 million a day up to. And on top of that, unlike many other YouTubers pulling in these kinds of views, bro's production costs are like almost zero. You know, you got people like MrBeast buying entire islands, private islands for a video, whereas Charlie, he doesn't even have a studio light. He hardly edits his videos. I mean, there has got to be like a handful of YouTubers in the world that people just watch and are happy to watch, just yap. Anyway, now the stage is set, starting with his earnings from Twitch, which apparently he doesn't even do anymore. Apparently he's not a streamer, and he said that he's not even in the top 20 for what he's about to show you that he makes. From 2021 to 2025, he made $4.1 million. That's roughly $1 million a year. Damn. And that's just bro's side hustle. He then shows you his YouTube earnings, which brought tears to my eyes.
So be ready, because here it is. Huge fucking number. An unfathomable amount of money. From starting this channel in 2007 all the way until today, I have made $35.8 million.
Insane. And what's even crazier is that if you actually look at this chart, yes, he's been making content since what, like 2007 that he started this channel? He didn't even really start properly earning money until, I would say, like 2019-ish. And that's when it just goes crazy. Which, I guess, is a reminder to anyone making content, including here at the News Daddy Empire. It took him more than a decade of making YouTube content before the real money started rolling in. So keep at it. Which is a reminder, subscribe to the channel. Do it. Oh, and also keep in mind, this is just AdSense revenue. That is excluding all brand deals, all sponsorships, and his own products, which I know that most YouTubers say that's where the actual majority of their money comes from. AdSense is just a nice portion on the side. So if that's anything similar to Charlie, my boy's rich. And as for how much money he was actually making from his fans, which is why he turned it off, this.
So with memberships and supers/gifts, I made over $1 million. Keep in mind, I've only had those things enabled for about a year. So it was $1 million in a year from just normal people donating it to me. Again, that just doesn't fucking sit right with me.
Bro, and the comments are hilarious. I've never been jump scared by 35 million before. This might be the rarest thing of all time. Someone who's actually rich saying, stop giving me money, I already have plenty. People being mad that they can't give a rich person money is the most first world country problem I've ever heard. You know what? Thinking about it, if Charlie has made 35 mil from his views, just imagine what MrBeast must be making. That's actually top 5 things I'd love to know before I die. It's gotta be in the 100 millis, at least. Actually, speaking of which, our next story, pretty full 180. Moving on. Also this week, we got news that MrBeast could be potentially plotting something pretty big. Reports came out that Jimmy could be opening his own bank. You heard that right. I guess it's pretty ironic considering we've got one YouTuber saying, don't give me any more money, and another YouTuber literally potentially opening a bank. Now, various publications this week, like Newsweek and Business Insider, they report that they have personally seen an application filed with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office for what appears to be a banking app called MrBeast Financial. You really missed the opportunity to call it Beast Bank. But okay. Now, they claim that this application was filed on October the 13th, and more specifically, this seems to be a banking app focused around cryptocurrency, investment banking, and possibly even a credit card. So, if these reports are true, then you would essentially be looking at a business model that other people have tried in the past. You would download this banking app, similar to Cash App and Monzo and those sorts of ones. You deposit your money on there, and then kind of just, use it as a regular Apple Pay here and there, but most of them offer perks and rewards, like maybe you get cash back on Feastables, or if you spend $50, then you get automatically entered into a potential giveaway where you can be in a video or, win $1 million. Because let's be honest, if it's MrBeast owning this, absolutely he's gonna gamify it. I mean, just look what he did with fundraising to generate $40 million for water. Bro gamified the hell out of that, which I think goes without saying, it's not necessarily a bad thing. And then on this side, how he would be profiting from this is that whenever you use Visa, MasterCard, the store, let's say you go to Target, they charge a 1 to 2% merchant fee of whatever you spent. So if you spend $100, maybe 2% of that will go back to MrBeast. And then if he actually does launch a credit card, that's a whole nother ballgame. He'd be earning interest on any loans, he'd be earning annual fees for the credit card, etc. However, big caveat to all of this, MrBeast hasn't said anything about it, nor has this trademark application been accepted or verified yet. So for now, all that we've got is just the application itself. But what do you guys think? Would you use Beast Bank or not? Let me know. Moving on. Also this week, we've seen something pretty interesting. Are we actually seeing a resurgence of religion, particularly amongst young people? Well, many seem to believe so, saying that there's a Christian revival across the United States. Bible sales have soared 41% since 2022, according to Fox News. And not only that, but religious app downloads have shot up by almost 80%, and Christian music streams are also up significantly. And more Christians are happy about these numbers and what they're potentially seeing in America. In Europe, it's a whole different story, actually. The Christians are angry over there about something. And that is because the Roman Catholic Church have officially set up a prayer room in the Vatican for Muslims, specifically in the Vatican Library for visiting Islam scholars. Now, this has caused some debate because, the Vatican is the most holy place for the Catholic faith. And I guess now they are allowing the practice of another religion in the heart of their own religion. But some Christians are applauding this. They are saying that it's good for the inclusivity and the unity between religions, and noting that the Pope himself is very welcoming of Muslims into the Vatican. In fact, they go there a lot to go to the library and do a lot of studying and research. But of course, there's both sides, and there's been a lot of backlash online for the other way around. Because they say that non-Muslims are totally banned from stepping foot in Islam's holy city of Mecca under Saudi law, let alone praying to another god. But as always, let me know what your guys' thoughts are about this situation in the comments. Moving on. Also this week, the Pope was gifted something very unusual. Now, in recent months, he's been given a lot of gifts, like a motorcycle, an electric car, but this one tops it all. A white, purebred Arabian horse named Proton. Guys, we are at a point where even the Pope now has Proton. So you know what? I am so inspired by such great acts of generosity coming out of the Vatican that today the News Daddy Empire will too be giving the gift of Proton mail. Woo! And let me tell you, I think that you're getting a way better gift than the Pope. Because what is the point of riding a horse when at home, your email provider is riding you?
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Gmail's own lawyers said that users don't have the expectation of privacy. They have the ability to log your communications and activity to sell it to third parties. Wild. What's your horse gonna do then, huh?
Y'all better bounce.
Nothing. But not with Proton Mail. Their business model is not based on user data. Therefore, all ads are blocked by default, and they don't track user activity to then sell. We're talking zero access, end-to-end encryption. Not even Proton can see what you're saying. All servers kept in Switzerland for some of the world's strongest privacy laws. Wow. And even their apps are open source, meaning the public can see what's going on, and independently audited. Plus, no one likes admin, so they made switching so easy. Just a few clicks later, you've moved your entire inbox, your calendar, your contacts, everything. And you might not believe me when I tell you, but I give you this gift for free. Yes, for free. All you're gonna do is click the link that I pinned in the comments, proton.me/DylanPage, and you and the Pope can ride off into the sunset with Proton. Moving on. Also this week, some serious drama at the Pentagon. On Wednesday, all journalists that worked there walked out in protest. All of them. And that is because they refused to cooperate with this new media restriction from the Pentagon. And so they together, CNN, Fox, teaming up. Never did we think we'd see the day. They handed in their badges, waited for each other, and walked out the building. You see, one of the main new restrictions that the media are opposing includes a policy which basically prohibits journalists from publishing any military information without the government first viewing it and acknowledging, signing it off, saying, you're all good to post that, which, I mean, do I have to point out the problems with that? Hurry, cup, Kim. Sorry. Banger song, just, you know, say it without saying it. Now, this also includes limiting the media to certain parts of the Pentagon where they were previously allowed to roam free. And here's the thing. Yes, it does sound pretty our friendly father like, and it kind of defeats the point of a free press. But if you go a little bit deeper, I guess you can see somewhat of the rationale for it. The Department of Defense say that they are trying to make these restrictions to protect national security. And this would be to prevent highly sensitive military information from getting leaked. And the thing is, the Washington Post points out that these new rules aren't even unique or new to the US because it, quote, reaffirms the standards that are already in line with every other military base in the country. And it's also worth pointing out that these new policies only apply to the journalists based at the Pentagon. So why is there such a big reaction? Well, partly it's fair enough. You know, this is restrictive of the press. But then also partly it's coming from Donald Trump and the Trump administration. And whenever Trump is perceived to be doing something that is cracking down on freedom of press or freedom of speech, you're gonna get a big reaction. So it's probably a bit of a mix of both. But what do you guys think? Do you think it is fair that the military needs to sign off on stuff that you can publish? Or do you think it's fair that the press shouldn't have access to any sensitive military information that they can just publish to the public? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, but for now, moving on. Okay, this next story is one of the greatest examples of... Play the clip. Alex, play the clip, you always do...
Fine. I'll do it myself.
Because what happens when your city's mayor just isn't doing what needs to be done? I'll tell you what happens. You become the unofficial mayor, like my man, Kevin Cole. Bro is known in the area as the mayor of SKIDROW, which, for some reason, if you don't know, is genuinely one of the most dangerous and poverty-stricken areas, because it's only like a street or two, in the United States. And my man Kevin, who was actually once homeless there himself, he's doing something about it. He is cleaning up the streets. In fact, he told CNN,
If you can put a man on the moon, you can clean these streets up.
and I can just hear Alex's thoughts. Questioning, well, I don't know if it's for sure that we've put a man on the moon. Am I right? Alex, is that what you're thinking? I know it is. What's next, huh? You gonna give us a 2-decade-old Tupac quote? Didn't think, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what kind of quotes you're into nowadays. And you know what? When I was watching Kevin Cole, I was thinking, you know what? Maybe that is what Skid Row needs, huh? Maybe it doesn't need some billionaire, some millionaire, some activist from the outside coming in to fix everyone's problems, because clearly it hasn't worked. Maybe what it needs is a Kevin to ignite change from within. Kevin for mayor, I've heard enough. Now, one part he says he especially wants to address is the mental health element of the homelessness situation in Skid Row, because, let's be honest, That's where the real problem lies, but also that's where the real tough issue to solve also lies. And in terms of help from the local government, he claims that they are not doing enough, which is why he is taking action. Kevin, you have my unofficial vote, and Alex's for sure. Moving on. Also this week, we saw a breakthrough that could change the way that we humans build forever. That's pretty interesting. A US engineering company, yes, US, not China, haha, just released a new wood that is 10 times stronger than steel, and it is called SUPERWOOD. Alex, you got SUPERWOOD? Now, it was developed by a scientist named Liang Bing Hu. Maybe it was China that got another breakthrough. Professor Hu has been researching this for over 10 years. So 1 year for each time it is stronger than steel. Oh, and the way he did it was spectacular. Professor Hu, he used these chemicals to partially heat and remove the And as a result, he successfully re-engineered it into basically a steroided up version of itself and up to 20 times stronger than its original natural form. Woo! Come on! And the thing is, this process doesn't just work with one exclusive type of wood. No. It works with all different types of wood. We're talking 19 different kinds, including bamboo. Bamboozle? My God, this is amazing. Oh, and it's not just stronger. This wood is 6 times lighter than steel. So this could possibly make constructing buildings far lighter, which in turn will be faster to build and also are more resistant to earthquakes. Who would have thought? Super wood withstanding earthquakes. Good Lord, I hate to read the comments. Moving on. Also, my Lord, this next one is wild. This man has the longest name in the world, and when it is written down, it's almost the size of a book. Now, his name, for short, is Lawrence Watkins, and he's originally from Auckland, New Zealand. But his full legal name consists of 2,253 words, and it takes 20 minutes to speak. And the reason we know that is because it had to be recited at his wedding. And so they pre-recorded it, put it on play while all the guests were wandering around, having a chat, drinking some champagne. And then when it finally got to the last, maybe 50 names, they turned up at the altar and they said, "Finished, I do." 20 minutes! Bro, what does he even have on his passport? Huh? Full legal name. There are so many things which don't make sense. In fact, his birth certificate is 7 pages long. I bet every administrative sector in the world hates this guy so much. And here's the thing, don't worry, there wasn't some sick parents that gave him a name that's over 2,000 names long. He kind of did it to himself. Yeah. So growing up, apparently he had this big fascination with Ripley's Believe It or Not, and then he had a dream of featuring in the Guinness World Records one day. I think you see where this is going. So, all the way back in the 90s, he decided to use a variety of names from various cultures and languages, including Latin, Old English, Maori, Japanese, Chinese, and so on. In fact, one of his names is Gaylord. Yeah, he chucked that one in there too. Even CNN, who wrote this original article, they created a search tab for people to use to see, do we share the same name? And most of the time it's yes. Now, somehow, a court in New Zealand actually accepted his request to change this to his legal name because, quote, the government didn't have any legal basis to deny the name change. They were like, well, we never come across this one before, so he won. And the thing is, despite him having this name since the 90s, he only got officially recognized by the Guinness World Record this year. So, dreams do come true. Moving on. Okay, and then to end off today's video, we are ticking off a petition because that is what the Empire does. Promises petitioned, promises accepted. Shit.
Corn casserole.
News Maddie presents a segment. Now, all I've been told is that it's a very different approach to what Alex did. So, without further a yap, I present to you the Empress. Boom, 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 boom. Woo! All right, come on. What story you got?
I'm just going to start by prefacing Alex.
to save me with the edit because I'm really nervous. And I don't think I've read a poem since I was about 12.
A poem?
Shh. Wait for it.
You're on a news channel here reading poems. This is what you guys petition for. Just letting you know, you have brought the chaos.
It's a creative interpretation of the news. This is titled News Maddie's Poem. Oh God, this is gonna be so hard. It's so long. I don't know how you do this. This is titled News Maddie's Poem. Since we last spoke. Oh God, this is literally gonna be impossible.
Think about all the people judging you right now.
No, I can't.
Let me get some smoke. That might make you feel better. I wonder if this is worse than Alex's. Oh my God, this is too much.
Since we last spoke, the world caught fire. The internet's dying. The vibes are dire. Dylan's back, deranged, alert. Each week he gives you the headlines dirt. Stop the yapping, he'll declare, while billionaires choke on billionaire air. He mocks the Pope for riding in swank while MrBeast is making a bank.
Oh, it's topical.
Superwood grows from labs insane, and someone birthed the world's longest name. Alex edits, void of sleep, he trims the madness while he weeps. I scroll through chaos, eyes like flames, feeding Dylan the headline game. But you subs, oh you scheme, petitioning against the dream. Make the empire fair, you cry. Democracy, we want to try. As Empress, hear me loud and all. Your fate awaits on the whip wall. Woo! Sacrificial lambs line up in rows. That's what a rebellion always owes. It's carnage, chaos, and one man's face, dictating from a lawless place.
Oh, it is lawless in here.
Smash that sub, obey the plan. The empire owns your attention span.
Whoa!
For every mess.
Was that ChatGPT?
No, shut up. For every mess and moral yapping, it's Dylan's rule, so let's get.
You do.
So did you like it?
Oh, that's not it! Alright! Well done! Woo! Alex, you better be clapping too. Let's get clapping! Alright, get behind. Cower in the corner. Or something. That is the video, guys. I will see you on Monday. Have a fantastic weekend. But until we speak again. Woo! Nice. Amazing.
Was that fun?
That was amazing.